I'm going to start reconsidering using Pre-Emergent on my lawn. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm not talking about never using it, just in certain situations, mainly in two. And that's what we're going to talk about today here on Budget Lawns. Thank you so much for joining me as always. If it's your first time, I hope we see you around here a little bit more often. Leave me a thumbs up and a comment below if you like this video. All that stuff helps out a whole lot. If you haven't seen the last video, I encourage you to go check that out. We just hit 5,000 subscribers here on the channel, and there's a little giveaway in that video, so you want to get yourself entered. I'll leave a link to it down below. So, when would I not use Pre-Emergent? I've been thinking about this 2 times. One, in the spring, if I am dealing with or have dealt with spring dead spot in the past, and 2, particularly on a new lawn. Let's dive into those just a little bit further and I'll tell you why. So the first one, spring dead spot. I don't want to get into all the specifics about what that is. We talked about that in a video, not long ago. I'll leave it linked down below as well. But look, I'm just going to show you. I told you I'm optimistic that I'm not going to have it near as bad as I did last year, and I think I'm right. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, I still see lots of spots where they were last year. Yeah, I see them too, but there is a whole lot more green coming through in them this year than there was last year. So even though I still think we're going to see some signs of it, it's not going to be as bad as it was last season, and it's going to come back much faster. Now, one thing I did leave out of the last video, and I want to clarify this, the spring dead spot disease is not what kills the grass. It just weakens the grass in the fall, and then the cold temperatures and the freezes over the winter damage it, and it just doesn't come out of dormancy. So in some of those spots, what you're seeing is just damaged grass that just never got cut out of there. So it's showing up a little bit more than what's really a problem. But the reason why I say that I might not use Pre-Emergent in the spring anymore, especially if I'm dealing with spring dead spot, is because just seeing these hints of the spots have driven me into a little bit further research. And one thing I have found is that a Pre-Emergent in the spring will... Look, we know that Pre-Emergents prevent weeds, but they will also hinder the spread of warm season grasses, particularly the Bermuda grass that spreads very vigorously by stolons. It will prevent those stolons from tacking down to the ground and filling in those bare spots faster than what they would do if you had not used a Pre-Emergent. So I used a Pre-Emergent last year, and those spots were so slow to fill in, and I'm starting to think that maybe that was a reason why, because those runners and the stolons and the rhizomes underground, the Pre-Emergent just prevented all that stuff from spreading as quickly as it could had I not used it. So if I'm ever dealing with spring dead spot in the future, I think one way to speed the fill-in back up during the season is just not use a spring Pre-Emergent. I'll still use it in the fall, and I'll still use it in January, because that will help me prevent the poannua, all the winter weeds and all that. But then when March rolls around, I just won't put it down. So if I do have spring dead spots, I won't have to look at them for very long. And if I did get any summer weeds, crabgrass, all that other stuff, I will just kill it with the post-emergent at that point. But if everything goes right and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, then I'll have a thick enough lawn to where weeds really aren't that big of a deal. So that's case number 1. Case number 2 kind of follows a lot of the same reasoning. As you know, I am building a new house right now. Construction is behind, as it is in most places. There's so much going on and not enough people to do it. So I started a playlist about new construction lawn care, and I guess you could consider this the second part to that, because I've been getting some questions about what I'm going to do before the sod ever gets laid. And I'll get to that in a second. But let me get back to the pre-emergent on a new lawn. So I am going to refrain from using a pre-emergent on my new lawn for at least the first year. And I'm going to do that following the same reasoning as what we just talked about with spring dead spot. The pre-emergent, especially putting 3 applications down like I do every year, would just hinder that Bermuda grass from really establishing, those roots really digging down, the rhizomes pushing underground, the stolons above ground, and just spreading and tacking down and filling in and thickening up really quickly. So I don't want to put a pre-emergent down that would slow that process even the slightest bit. So when I get my new lawn down, I've told you before, I don't do a whole lot to it. I want it to be pretty natural the first year, all organic, and just let things ride and fix things that may arise after the fact. It worked on the lawn I'm on right now, and I don't see why it won't work again. But those are the 2 situations where I am going to refrain from using a pre-emergent. One, if I've got spring dead spot or suspect that I may have it that spring. Or 2, on a new lawn, because I just want it to establish naturally, and I don't want to put anything on it that will prevent it from doing that. Or slow it down, not prevent it, but slow it down. All right, so I've been getting the question a lot, what are you going to do to your lawn before the landscaper and the sod comes in and puts it down? Look, I didn't do anything to the one I've got now. I can tell you, if you've never built a house before, between packing and moving and work and closing and everything else, honestly, the lawn was not even close to top of mind. It was pretty much way down the list, non-priority. This time I will make it a slight priority. I'm not going to do much. I did not do this last time, but I will this time. I'm going to go around and make sure that I get any excess bricks, excess rocks, construction material, supplies. I mean, they don't typically do a good job at that. I may be wrong this time, but in this lawn, I have found caulk guns, Coke cans, bricks, rocks. You're going to find it all. So this next time around, I'm going to go through and get as much of that junk out of the lawn before they bring some final topsoil in and sod it. That's one thing I'll do. The second thing I will do is, well, I shouldn't say I will do, but I am considering it this time. I am considering putting a sprinkler system in. If you followed along here at all, you know that I love watering the lawn manually with sprinklers and hoses, but I got a new job. My kids are getting older. I don't have the time and freedom like I did before to spend hours early in the morning moving sprinklers around. So I am looking at getting an irrigation installed. Leave me your thoughts on that. I know you folks that have them love them. It'll be a change if I do, because again, I love doing the old sprinklers and hoses, lugging them around the yard. I know that sounds crazy, but it's relaxing to me. And another question I've been getting asked is, are you going to put anything down in the soil before the sod goes down, like a starter fertilizer? The answer for me is no. This is one of those things that if you're gonna put a starter fertilizer down, it's recommended that you should get it down before the sod goes down. It should be in that soil or that dirt before the sod is even laid. Get it watered in. It's not something you want to have the sod laid, then put the starter fertilizer down and water it in, because that's not the way to see the best results for that. It's certainly a good idea if that's something you want to do, but for me, no starter fertilizer. You know, I just try to do things here in as few steps and as little money as possible. And as far as other steps go on my lawn, for the new one. I'm going to keep posting new videos every step of the way to show you how I will take care of a new construction yard from the very beginning through, you know, I mean, as long as I keep doing budget lawns, you'll keep getting updates on that. So make sure you're following along, subscribe to the channel, and look for that playlist down below. I'll be adding this to it for the second video in that playlist. There's already one there that will show you where I'm moving, not where I'm moving, but you know, the lot and kind of a lay of the land moving forward. All right, my friends, that's all I've got today. It's windy, we've had some rain, the yard's wet, some folks are out mowing. It's a beautiful day, but the Masters is on. It's final round Sunday at Augusta, and I've got plans and a date with the couch. So I will see you next time.